Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Drive Away with Baz and Jen. I'm Baz.
And I'm Baz.
Nope, not quite. That's Jen.
That's Jen.
Okay. And we just...
I'm Ella McKay.
Tremendous feeling. We just got out of seeing The Secret Agent. We drove 35 minutes to Framingham for this.
Yeah, but not quite like the 40 minutes we drove to get Indian food. I was a 15-minute drive away.
I fear I have started driving, and thus I don't know the director's name.
I will tell you. Just give me one moment.
Starring, I don't know if it's Wagner or pronounced with a V, but Wagner Moura.
He's a cutie. He looks like Pedro Pascal mixed with Lalo Salamanca mixed with Leonardo DiCaprio.
I think he's so attractive. Irreparably attractive.
Incredibly attractive.
Which?
By Kleber Mendonça Filho.
Okay. Brazilian film in Portuguese. And yeah, I was personally a big fan. I quite enjoyed it. I think getting the bad thing out of the way, it is quite long.
I thought that this felt like a mini series rather than a movie. The pacing was very television.
I agree. I think it's not necessarily a bad thing that it's so long. But for a movie, the 160 minutes that it has, there are a couple things that maybe aren't as tightly relevant to the main plot that could be trimmed. However, I kind of fuck with it because it's very much showing and describing this real living place. It's a period piece. It's set in 1977 for the most part. And you really get a sense of what it was like to actually be there during that time and all the people you could encounter.
Lots of fun little characters.
Yes, I don't
that felt like real people, even though they were just little silly people.
Donna Sebastiana is obviously
incredible.
the fave.
The two-headed cat.
Yeah.
Liza and Elias.
This one is this movie. I think there's a lot of things to analyze, which makes my lit major brain go burr. That I don't think I've fully processed yet either.
We also were at a drive-in AMC.
Nope.
Not a drive-in. A dine-in AMC that let us get milkshakes delivered to us, which is also nice.
A lot of things to analyze in terms of theme. Obviously a big one. And I think I'm learning that I really like Brazilian cinema.
I love Brazilian cinema.
Between this and last year's I'm Still Here, which was one of my favorite movies from last year. Just kind of themes of, with everything that they went through, memory and loss of, more apparent in I'm Still Here was, the fact that, people were, quote-unquote disappeared. They were taken away either to prison or killed. And just if they were, going against the, I'll say, government, as for lack of a better term. And then in this one, it's not necessarily about the disappearing thing, but just in death and in facing the government, despite things happening a while ago, they weren't actually that long ago.
Yeah.
And
77 is 50 years ago.
The idea of community as a memory. And so the whole time, Armando is our main man, except he winds up taking the fake name Marcelo. And his kind of goal when he gets to this archives identification place is he wants to find his mother's ID card, so that way he can have a document of hers to prove that she existed. And
because she was 14 and a slave.
Right.
And he's in it's not a witness protection thing, but he's a refugee because he was a professor and a researcher and
professor is okay.
I don't know if he was a professor, but he was like a researcher at a university, and he pissed off this criminal guy. And his wife pissed off the criminal guy, and now they're like hunting him, and like the criminal guy works for the government, so the government has him on like a no-fly list, and he can't leave, and they're trying to kill him.
And just like the idea that like, especially before now, when like everything on the internet now is stored forever in some way, shape, or form, if someone died and you don't have any documentation of them, like it's just kind of like obviously they existed and they are a big impact on your life if that's the case, but like there's no recollection of them, and it's hard to kind of keep that memory alive. And then what I think Flavia was the girl's name, so there's a little bit of like a jump forward. Sorry, this is a spoiler-filled podcast, by the way. A bit of a jump forward in time. I don't know if it's necessarily like present, but it's probably at least 2010s, I think it's fair to say. When there's this university student, Flavia, who's going through the various like cassette recordings of Armando and Elsa.
Elsa is the person organizing the witness protection.
Right. And then, so she winds up connecting with Fernando, who is Armando's son. Now he's grown up and is a doctor at a, I don't know.
Blood bank.
Yeah, a blood bank, yeah.
Which happens to be in the same place that the movie theater his grandfather worked at.
No, different movie theater.
Oh, I thought they said that was...
No, he said the grandfather took him to a theater, but because the one that the grandfather worked at was, it was Sao something. But the one that was the blood bank had a different name.
Oh, okay.
But just, and like, he said, like, after, it's kind of revealed in a shocking way that, like, we don't actually see Armando die and get killed.
Yeah.
Like, it's just revealed in this, like, quote-unquote, like, present timeline, that he was seemingly assassinated.
Yeah, the hitman got to him. And chasing him through the movie.
And so Fernando is just like, yeah, like, I don't really have any recollections of my father, and, like, I just... the memories I have are just, like, people telling me things about him. And... like, I forget the exact line, but he says to Flavia, like, you probably remember my dad more than I do since you've gone through all these tapes and have listened to his voice. And yeah, just really struck by this theme that I've seen in Brazilian cinema of just trying to keep that community and that memory alive despite all the horrible things that have happened. And that is something that just really resonates with me. A lot of fun editing and cinematography in this.
Can I talk about the thing that we were just on?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So the first time we see the two university students listening to the tapes, it's like not even a 45-second cutaway. And then we don't see them again for like another like 40 minutes to an hour. And it's still like, I kind of wasn't the biggest fan of that aspect. I liked it at the end, but I wish that either they had more of like a plot and an introduction that like we
like
were
a Yellow Jackets type thing,
or not even, but like just I wanted, because we only saw him recording a tape once. I wish that there was like more of a through line of there being all of these testimonies and tapes that they're listening to, because that's what the ending crux of the movie is that, you know, like, he's looking for a record of his mom that doesn't exist, and Fernando wasn't looking but doesn't have any record of his dad, and now that there is this record of his dad, like, and he has this thing that he can listen to his dad and like get to know his dad in some way. And I think that like it felt like there was a missed opportunity there to not have this as like a through line in the plot where, you know, either Fernando's talking or like we hear pieces of stories from like Alicia's another side character who they mention has a tape, but I liked that at the beginning it's not clear that this is a tape. Like, we think this is happening in the present, which is 1977 for this movie, but it's, you know, like there's no future tense stuff. And I like that. I'm a little conflicted on not giving closure to Armando, the character, and just like being like, oh yeah, he died and got assassinated, which like I get it and what they were going for, because like it's the whole point of like the violence,
quote unquote realistic.
But I just felt like, because we don't even get like, you know, he's just like at work, and then there was like a shooting at work when they were trying to kill him, but then they failed to kill him, so then he's just like okay, and he's just goes back to looking for the record of his mom, and then like we just hard cut back to the present, and she's like, Flavia's going to see Fernando, and then there's like, we see the newspaper cutting or whatever are on the computer.
Am I misremembering in that I don't think he just goes back to work, he calls and is like, hey, I need those passports now after the shooting.
Yeah.
But then it cuts.
Oh, did it cut off the passport? I thought it cut off him going back to looking for
if I'm remembering
something.
I think what it might have been was he called and then he went back because he still really needs to find that document for himself. And then it cuts with the implication that maybe he does eventually go off with the passports, but then gets assassinated on a later date.
Yeah.
That's how I took it.
I figured he was getting, because he was wearing the same clothes in the assassination photo.
No, I don't. In the assassination photo, I think he had a darker single-colored shirt. In that last scene, he kind of had that like cream and pink striped one.
Yeah.
So I think it was a later date.
But regardless, it's like a hard cut to him being dead, and like we, the audience, don't really get to grieve our main character.
Yeah.
Because it's just like talked about in like cold, like this happened, okay, you know. And I didn't necessarily like that as much, but I get it, because it helps with the point that they're going for, but I just wish that we got more of the Flavia's relationship to these tapes. Like we don't find out why she's listening to these tapes until well into her conversation with Fernando, and it's just she was tasked by her university to transcribe them, so like it feels less personal.
Am I incorrect in assuming that Flavia's grandfather she was mentioning was one of the other characters that were in the situation?
I don't think so.
Okay. But yeah, also, I guess on that front, like you said, for me personally, I really fuck with it as a narrative. Well, not a narrative, but as a device to sorry, I should be more specific. I fuck with the lack of closure for Armando as a device to kind of drive home that theme of like the audience doesn't really get to grieve him because like
Fernando does. Yeah,
Fernando does.
That's why I'm
and,
okay
like,
with it.
The other folks, but I do understand wanting, especially in a movie, in a piece of media, a novel, TV show, what have you. You want that narrative oomph of like we get to actually feel this moment, and it's always kind of that battle between like trying to promote theme versus narrative. I think and kind of how they interconnect.
Even if we just lingered on it a little longer, like, because when Flavia finds it, she's like just at the breakfast table or whatever, and like they're just, and it's there, like, and she doesn't have a, like, there's a little like thing in her eyes, but there's no like, she doesn't say anything about it. She doesn't like, you know, there's no oh my god moment. It's just like a okay, yeah. And I just wish that like, I don't know, I just kind of wanted, like, I appreciate the theme, and I like that, you know, in the sense of like, if we can't grieve, you know, Fernando can't grieve, we can't grieve. But I wish that we had the more like, either Flavia just had more of a presence in the film up until this point, so that like the perspective shift doesn't feel as jarring, or like we feel more connected to her and her uncovering Armando's
Sure.
life through these tapes.
Yeah.
As opposed to just like 2 30-second scenes and then the
big
last
one at
20
the
minutes
end.
of the movie.
Yeah. I can definitely I agree with parts of that for sure. I think there should have been at least a little bit more description of like you said, kind of why she's following these tapes.
Yeah, she
and
flies.
things.
Well, she's in Brazil already, but she flies
goes
to somewhere
yeah.
else to go meet this guy. When,
But
like,
it's clear that they've been corresponding.
no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, but so we don't understand why this is so personal to her.
Sure. Yes,
She's
I agree.
flying to this small town to go meet this guy when she's been talking with him through email and could have done this over Zoom. And like mailed him and like I get that, you know, we want to see her there because it's watching people talk over the phone in a movie is boring.
Yeah.
But like it means enough to her to fly out there to meet him in person. Like
Yeah.
why does it mean that much to her?
Yeah, for sure. And I think, yes. Because, I mean, I think I definitely would have liked a little more. But I think it might have been like an overcorrection of trying to balance it. Because obviously Armando is our main character.
Yeah.
And then, like, I feel like if they went a little bit... I wonder if it was, like, trying to overcorrect to make sure it wasn't, like, a co-lead type situation.
Yeah.
Of, like, not, like, two quote-unquote timelines, but, like, following Armando and then Flavia, like, trying to uncover stuff about Armando.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it was just trying to keep the focus more on Armando rather than what Flavia was doing. And just a bit of overcorrection on that balance. There's two things I want to talk about because we have a long podcast episode already. Fatima, Armando's dead wife, because wives always are dying in movies, unfortunately. Wives and mothers, you're dead. But Fatima, just going with all the themes I've talked about already, I love how she not haunts the narrative, but she's such a presence before she's ever actually on screen.
Yeah.
Like, you feel the weight of this character being, like, not being there.
Yeah, we see the photo of her on Armando's dashboard in the opening scene.
Yep.
And then, like, 10 minutes later, water gets sprayed through the window by some kids, and the first thing he does is, like, reach to cover the photo from getting it sprayed on. And, like...
And then when the scene finally does show up, which is where we see why, I think it's pronounced Girardi.
Yeah, Girardi.
The guy who wants to
guy.
kill Armando. They're at dinner, Armando and Fatima and Girardi and Girardi's son. And Girardi's a fucking piece of shit. And we get to see Fatima be like, hey, actually, by the way, I've been sitting here being respectful for my husband. Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck
you
yourself.
piece of
Fuck
shit.
your son. Fuck you. You're worth nothing. You suck.
And it's just like, what a release of like, you kind of subconsciously already know, like, damn, like, this character's presence is not here. And then you actually get it. You actually finally get her presence and you're like, yeah, that is what has been missing. Which I think is a very good way to tell that story and that theme. And so, yeah, great editing, obviously pacing, but like you said, Jen, I think pacing more of like a mini series.
Yeah, it's split into 3 parts. Like, there's 3 parts of the movie, but it almost felt 5-act structure for a film in a way, which is a rare thing in a film, but like when it gets longer, you kind of have that. Except in terms of the 5-act structure, it's really more of like cold open and then like
At the gas station?
Yeah, and then like an act 1 and an act 2, and then like another act 2, and then another like, and then an act 3, but from a different plot line for the 5th act for
Sure.
Flavia's stuff. And it like, so it's very non-traditional structuring.
I appreciate how ballsy it was.
I agree. I do agree. I feel like I've given the impression I didn't like this movie. I did like this movie. I'm a
big fan of the cinematography.
Yeah,
too,
it was really
on my
pretty.
end. And then, so I guess, Do you have anything else before I switch topics?
I mean, I liked the composition of a lot of the shots was really nice, and the colors in it were just really like vibrant and warm, and it really helped to pull you into this place. And like,
may I jump in real fast about the colors? That was such a all the warmthness of the 70s setting, and then the scenes when it's in like the quote unquote present timeline,
it's so
they
gray.
Feel gray and washed out.
It's so gray. It's so fucking Zack Snyder bullshit. Like,
but yes, please
but
continue.
Like back in the 70s, it's so warm and inviting, and it's during Carnival, so there's all these colors around, and like it had the look of old film without actually doing a film emulator, which I thought was really nice, and it just like. Because the setting is, they're in this nice little estate, and it's like supposed to be inviting because what's her name?
Sebastiana.
Donna Sebastiana is this silly little old woman who we love, and
she was formerly a communist and then an anarchist, or maybe it was the other way around.
Yeah, and it's like she's a delight, and like her estate that Armando lives in one of the rooms in is like, it's such a place of warmth that exists outside of like the city that there's all fucking hitmen running around and bullshit, and like that is very beige. And like there's a shot where he walks out of a building and looks out at the rest of the city, and it's,
my God,
it's incredibly beige and flat, and there's giant buildings compared to the small little mom and pop shops.
Is that
we've
when
been
he's
seeing
at the theater?
Yeah,
with his father-in-law?
And it's huge, and it's very Las Vegas. I was gonna say if Las Vegas was in the middle of like a desert type, but Las Vegas isn't a desert. But it's like the architecture is. It's not adobe-y, but it's like, it looks almost sandstone-y, and it's just everything is the same color. And I was like, wow, that's very big and scary and imprisoning feeling. I really liked that shot. Yeah. I wanted to bring it up.
I guess for our last topic, because this is a long episode, this is kind of a quick thing. I'm going to pose the question and then ask you what you think or if you know, and then I'm going to say what I found out. What's the deal with the fucking hairy leg? What do you think? Because I have an answer.
Oh boy. I mean, I think it was like a comic or something that someone just kept putting in the newspaper. I don't know, man.
You're partially there. So
it's like a store, like an ARG.
So the hairy leg, in the context of the movie, essentially the hairy leg goes and
there's a sawed-off leg that pulls out, that was taken out of a shark's stomach.
No, I don't think it was sawed off. I think the shark
ate a guy's leg.
A guy, and then like
they removed the leg,
kind of
and then like the cop's son broke into the morgue and stole the leg out of the morgue and threw it back over the ocean.
And I learned that the director, who I think was also the writer or a co-writer on this, in the city, like the actual real city, I think it's Recife or Recife, there's kind of this folk tale sort of thing of the hairy leg going around and like beating up gay men cruising at the beach. And so the reason was because the government and the police at that time would do that, and not just to like gay men cruising on the beach, but like other folks as well. And there was a news reporter who legally, because of the government, couldn't write like, the police are doing these fucked up things. So the police reporter, the journalist would write, the hairy leg is back and attack these people.
Oh my God.
To kind of tell the people that like, hey, there's something foul going on here with the government, but can't actually say it. And I think also in the movie, it's kind of used as...
Oh, because the police are the ones who steal the fucking... Dude.
And so, and as well in the movie, the whole sensation of the hairy leg and like the leg being pulled out of the shark in the news cycle is to help cover up the bad things that like the cops and the government are doing.
Oh my God, that makes so much more sense.
It very much, in some ways, that like kind of imagery of it, because there is an admittedly a little bit of a goofy scene with the
where
hairy
it's fucking
leg
bouncing around and it's
reviving up
surrealist.
and, like, bouncing around. Might have been partially stop motion. With I could be wrong about how it was animated, but I went on Twitter really quickly after the movie, and I saw there's a little clip from an article that I'll send to you, but explaining the hairy leg thing.
Awesome.
But in some ways, I feel like imagery,
this is our longest episode.
I know. The imagery kind of reminds me of the Bad Miracle floating shoe in Nope.
Oh, yeah.
Of just like, it's this weird, surreal imagery that doesn't make sense in the context of the movie. Nope, a little bit excused because it's an alien movie. But the scene with that shoe is not
thing here.
Right. It's a historical thing here, just given a little bit of movie surrealism.
Huh.
Yeah. So that's.
I have to ask you a quick question.
Yes, because we got a long episode. Sorry, guys.
Letterboxd.
I gave it a 4.5 and a like.
Solid.
I'm big fan. If Sentimental Value weren't another international movie that I liked even more, I would be pulling for this for international feature at the Oscars. We'll probably get a nomination regardless, but yeah. That's my thought. Hey, Jen, what about you?
I'm giving it somewhere between a 4 and a 4.5.
Okay.
I haven't decided yet.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.